I'm Christo from Rheede. I'm the CEO of the AHI Business Network. We're a national network that focuses on promoting the interests of our members, which are mostly business members, but we also play a very big role in terms of organizing communities economically, also assisting them with empowerment, also assisting them with building young entrepreneurs, and also assisting with ensuring a conducive environment for business to grow and to flourish. My talk today was exactly about that, and it was about also the role that chambers can play to bring about local economic development. Okay, let me talk about the role of business chambers in developing local economies. What is the primary focus of a business chamber? It is first and foremost, it is about the entrepreneur. If we do not take care of the entrepreneur, if we do not create conducive circumstances for entrepreneurs, there can't be job creation. How does an entrepreneur go about to give a heartbeat or give life to a business entity? First and foremost, you develop a nervous system. That nervous system starts where? Yeah, in your head. Yeah, this piece of grey mass between your ears. And that's where the vision and mission is born. You base that on a specific set of values, your lymphatic system. South Africa, where corruption is so rife, we as business people need to take a stand and say we cannot allow a system where corruption is rife. The next part of that body is the human senses system. And that we compare to the marketing system. Because if you grow, if you can see better, if you can smell better, if you can hear better, it's all about scanning the environment for opportunities and growing your business. Your left arm or your right hand, it can be any of the two. We compare that with your staff, the hands and fingers with their roles and responsibilities. Then the respiratory system. That we compare with direct and indirect cost. If cost starts to run away with your business, it means you can no longer breathe properly. The cardiovascular system, that's the heartbeat of your body. Those are the products and services that you make available to the market. Your muscular system, we compare that with your administration. Your resources that you need to produce something or to provide a service, we compare with the digestive system. Your skeletal system is your infrastructure. Endocrine system, in other words, that's the system that releases hormones that we compare with your safety and security. Networking is part and parcel of a business environment. And within the AHI, we place huge emphasis on networking. Because as a business, you cannot operate in isolation. And we compare that with the reproductive system. Then your legs, feet, and your toes, on the one hand, is monitoring. In other words, what are the systems you put in place to monitor the growth of your business, to monitor the environment, and then also very important, on the other hand, evaluation. If you want this body to function optimally, you need first and foremost all of the systems to work together. You need all of the systems to function properly. And very importantly, you need a fit body. What provides the blood flow to this body is communication. In other words, effective communication throughout. And then very importantly, this body needs to function in an environment. And what is important for that environment? You need pro-business policies. And this is the core business of the AHI. Very importantly, successful entrepreneurial enterprises operate as an organized whole. You cannot neglect your left arm or you cannot neglect your right arm. And that's one of our biggest challenges in South Africa. This acrimonious relationship between labor on the one hand and business enterprises on the other hand. I want to go into the next phase of my presentation. With this at the start, how can I trust the information when you are using such outdated technology? What does the Chamber of Commerce do? As I've said, It is a business network in essence, and it can operate on an international, national, provincial, or local or urban or rural basis. We need to have an arm's length relationship with government and other stakeholders. The moment a business entity becomes the lapdog of government or other agencies, then it runs into serious trouble. What are the historical background? We're not going to be long on this, but very importantly, it started during the Venetian maritime trading period, and it's also during that time that the term Chamber of Commerce was used in Marseilles. And then, very interestingly, following the royal decrees of 1701-02, chambers were established throughout France, and then it expanded to West Europe. And here I just want to emphasize the following. In South Africa, we've got a legacy problem, or a legacy challenge, let me rather rephrase. We have a massive emphasis on political organization. And we come from a particular history. But you know, I haven't heard anyone standing up and say we need to shift from political organization to economic organization. You need to start taking ownership of the factors of production. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if we do not address that issue, we will have 3/4 of our society becoming dependent on 1/4 of society. And that's already happening. We already have almost 17 million people dependent on social grants, and 6 million people must pay the taxes. And what do we need in this country, ladies and gentlemen? We need a strong state and a strong private sector, and these two working together. But the moment you have a weak state doesn't like a strong private sector. What will a weak state do? It will forever try to weaken the private sector, to get more capital, regardless of where that capital comes from. Okay, membership range between some of them as 300,000 members, like the Paris Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The All China Federation of Industry and Commerce has 3 categories of members: companies, groups, and individuals. By end of 2014, this membership totaled 3.9 million members. No wonder, they can dominate the world's economy, right? Because they're highly organized. I'm dead set against protectionism, but I'm all for strategy, because that's what the Chinese do. That's what the Americans do. They have a very specific strategy. What are our strategy? We are so parochial, and then on top of it, we fight each other. Let me contextualize the South African Business Chamber environment. You'll see that in terms of personal income tax, there it is about 16.8 million individuals registered, and about 6.5 million were expected to submit their income tax forms. In terms of company income tax, on the register there's about 2.7 million companies. And then in terms of VAT, 420,000 active vendors. And then, very importantly, in terms of import, VAT and custom duties, 272,000 importers. In terms of economic activity, you'll see the biggest slice of the cake is in the financial services industries. In terms of VAT, custom duties, we import approximately 48% of things that we import from Asia. We pay VAT and we pay custom duties. And for what is that? That is mostly for vehicles, cell phones, industrial machinery, and mechanical appliances. From Europe, we import vehicles and parts and steam turbines, and then, lo and behold, whiskey. And then from the Americas, industrial machinery, vehicles, and cell phones. Company income tax was the 3rd largest contributor to tax revenue in 2012 and 13. Here they contributed 26.7%. And in the last few years, 19.8%. It shows you that the economy is on a steady decline. And then of the 625,000 companies assessed, about a third had positive taxable income. A further third had taxable income equal to zero, and the remaining third reported an assessed loss. A very important statistic is the concentrated nature of the South African economy is evident, as 299 large companies with taxable income of more than 200 million were liable for 58.1% of the tax assessed. Because if these companies decide that circumstances are no longer conducive, because of these electricity interruptions, of labor unrest, of this and that, and they move, then we're in serious trouble. That's why we need to support the entrepreneur. We need to give birth to them. We need to make sure that they are fit and that they are fit for purpose. And as you can see, personal income tax for that period was 34.5%, and it remains sort of stagnant. But this is the big worrying factor. Company income tax fell to 19.9%. The AHI is a non-profit network. We're out in Pretoria, and we accommodate Afrikaans, English, and yes, we have appointed young people from Mamelodi, and they're teaching us all the other indigenous languages. Language is a commodity that we start to use to our advantage. We are recognized by the president as a key role player. 110 business chambers, 20,000 business members all over the country, and turnover is anything between 3 million and 1 billion annually. But very significant, ladies and gentlemen, are these 500 volunteers. There they are. And those volunteers drive all of these chambers. Massive emphasis now within the AHI on training young people. So we provide course material, we put them into contact with mentors and things like that. Mobilizing business people is very important. Establishing of business chambers at local level. Empowerment of local business leaders. Local economic development is another function within the AHI. Promoting business-to-business interaction on the African continent via an e-platform called Africa Business Connect. In other words, it's a virtual business chamber that we've launched, and our aim is to create a virtual conduit via various business people can make in contact, they can start engaging and things like that. What is our business philosophy? And I want to end off with this, ladies and gentlemen. It's about economic growth versus economic decay. How do we go about to achieve that? It's through economic organization. And I said, a fragmented society can never achieve proper economic growth. Very important, networking, empowerment. What do I do to take the community with us as business people? We cannot be seen just as extracting capital all the time, and the community is left high and dry. No business can function in an environment where there's no rule of law. Private ownership. Service delivery is important. Competitiveness. We struggle against China. I tell you, I've seen reports now from the manufacturing sector where they say we can no longer, especially the steel manufacturing sector, we can no longer compete with China. And then, yes, sustainability. So, ladies and gentlemen, our focus within the AHI is on the blue things, growth. Growth through organization, cooperation, innovation, networking, empowerment, rule of law, private ownership, service delivery, competitiveness, sustainability. I want to end off this morning by leave the following in your midst. There's lots of work to be done in South Africa. That work and that energy we must channel into the direction of economic organization. We need to get our people, the poorest of the poor, to understand the workings, the inner workings of economics. And we need to rekindle that spirit of entrepreneurship. Thomas Edison said the following: opportunity is missed by most people because it comes dressed in overalls and looks like work. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.